Welcome to the show. There are four simple words that can change a life, and they are you can do hard things. Those are the words that Pat Aslin spoke every day to her kindergarten students for 28 years. And these are words that she backed up with love and care and encouragement and a gentle kiss on the top of the head for these precious kiddos. Well, after she was diagnosed with breast cancer, the message she poured into so many of her young lives became a source of her own strength in that 7 year fight. Even her 3 year old grandson would remind her, Nana, you can do hard things. Well, after her passing, her sweet husband, Terry, wrote a children's book to carry her message forward. And it is one that we're going to be talking about today. It is You Can Do Hard Things.
Yes.
And it is a delight to meet
Oh, thank
you
you, Ann.
again. We
Yes.
had a chance many years ago. I say you hang around Waco long
You
enough,
do.
you're going to meet
You
everybody.
do. You do.
But
Waco is still a small town.
it is a
Yeah.
small town. That's right. Always be careful what you say about anybody because somebody's going to know somebody else, and it will get
Absolutely.
back to them. But this precious book, the impetus for writing it,
Yes.
tell me about that.
It was born. The idea was really born many years ago. My wife, Pat Aslin, passed last coming up on a year. February
Oh,
the
it's still very
16th of she passed February 16th of 2025. So we're coming up on
yeah.
a 1 year anniversary.
My condolences.
Well,
I
thank you
know.
very
I mean,
much.
it's still very fresh.
Yeah,
I'm
very
sure.
much
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Very, very much so. Um, and she was a legendary kindergarten teacher in Gatesville. I mean, she was the top of the top. Everybody wanted her,
Oh, yeah.
requested, on and on and on. But she just had such a unique ability to touch lives. Not She wasn't just their kindergarten teacher. Once you had her for life. And one of her mantras that she used every single day and with our own children
Hmm.
taught the kids you can do hard things. And so after she passed, I kept thinking of a way to honor her, and I felt that first nudge in April. Um, when it's like had an opportunity, we had opportunities to honor her in some ways, locally with some nonprofits and things, but
Sure.
I, I kept thinking there's got to be something more. And woke up one morning and thought, you know what? I'm going to write a book. I had no clue what I was doing. Okay.
Ever written a children's book before?
No,
Okay.
no. I have published and written things before,
Right.
but certainly nothing like this.
Yeah.
And so I just started writing,
Hmm.
and what eventually wound up is this. The title was always the same, and
Right.
what came out of it is this beautiful work that grandparents, parents, children, can use as a guide to teach and learn, and as a legacy to my late wife.
What was it that was so special in her approach to children?
Sure. So you really, she she loved. She Number one, she was born to be a teacher.
Yeah.
Um, she took early childhood courses in college and went the old traditional teacher route.
Yeah. Kitty lit. You had to take
Yes,
kitty lit. I had friends that
absolutely,
took that. Yeah.
absolutely. And her passion was teaching reading, and simply because she said, if people cannot read,
Yeah.
they can't do anything.
No.
They can't even. They don't even. If they can't spell out the word stop, they don't know to stop. If they can't,
Yeah.
simple things. So her passion, she took upon herself to really focus in. She could literally, and she could teach a rock to read. And so it was through that, and through a lot of her childhood. Um, certain events and things happen, and the basically a lot of the population in Gatesville is lower socioeconomic. and she just had a heart.
Yeah.
And she said, if I can influence one of these kids and help them break the cycle, because education is the key to breaking those cycles, said it'll all be worth it.
Oh, so
And so that's
important.
where, and I saw that over and
Hmm.
over and over. I mean, just she never missed a beat, even when she was so tired. Even through the she taught through her first chemo
Oh
sessions.
my.
She taught she had 37 radiation treatments that she would teach till 3:30 in the afternoon. She got the last radiation appointment, drive 45 minutes from Gatesville to Texas Oncology here,
Yeah.
and did that for 37 straight days.
Oh my goodness.
She said, "I'm not letting my kids down."
Hmm.
So that's just
Wow.
very, very special.
Well, she'd kiss each one on the top of the
Yeah,
head. Tell me about that.
so I learned this before we had kids, and she was teaching kindergarten. I think one afternoon I had come home early to surprise her, and I showed up at the school, and it's kind of dismissal time. I was in there, and she had those kids lined up, and she was going through, and she would tell them as they walked out the door, she'd kiss them on top of their head. She would look them in the eye and tell them that I love you. And the last thing she said, remember, you can do hard things. And so I recall very well. I said, do you do this every day? She said, of course.
Yeah.
I said, why? Why do you do this? I mean, not being, ugly. I'm just like, what? She said, hun, you don't get it. She said, these kids come to school and said, I may be the only
Yeah.
person in their life they hear I love you from.
That is
I may
true.
be the only person in their life that they get a kiss on top of their head from. And then I may be the only person in life that can tell them, listen, when
Yeah.
things get tough, remember you can do that. You can do this.
Yeah, and those words will echo back in their minds. That is something that I noticed when I'd be involved, in schools, or PTA or whatever, or go and read the class.
Right.
Those little ones, I mean,
Oh,
they
they
just wanted a
just
hug.
they
They
do.
they
They want
really
that.
crave that affection,
They
and
do.
so.
They really, really do.
Hmm.
And it was so interesting the other day. I'd gotten a new shipment of books in, and I went out and made some deliveries in Gatesville, and one of them was one of her former students. And went up to the door. I was just going to leave it. I was just going to leave it on the porch, and had a nice note because she wanted a signed copy and everything. And she comes. I remember her very well. She was like in Pat's second class she
Oh
had
my,
in
yeah.
Gatesville.
Hmm.
So I'm walking off, and she saw me on the ring camera, and she comes out the door, and she just came up and just grabbed me and just hugged. I mean, Gatesville's very small. Waco's small, but Gatesville's
No,
very small.
right,
But she just hugged me, and we sat there and we both just cried.
right.
And she just went on about how she said, how much Pat influenced her life and
Mhm.
how her life is so different today because of a lot of those life lessons. And that's true. Every teacher, and it's not just Pat. Every teacher has they have so much ability to touch and change lives. It's amazing.
Mhm.
And for the most part, yeah, I'm sure yourself and I mean, I can think back and going through school, and I have my teachers that made such an impact
Oh,
on me.
yeah, no question about it. The ones that it's a calling for them.
Absolutely, you do.
It's their life's work. And then there are some that
You,
they're just going through the motions.
they're
You know.
like anything,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Well, when she was diagnosed
yes,
then with breast cancer,
mhm.
and it was many years that she fought
She did. She
this.
was actually she was diagnosed in May of 2017. Um, and I know we have three children of our own, and we didn't immediately tell our children
Hmm.
until we kind of knew, a little more of what was going to take place. Um, but it was she had initially had double mastectomy, and it was 2 weeks after that our daughter was getting married.
Oh my goodness.
And and so, um,
You had to
oh
tell
yeah,
her.
oh of
Oh
course.
yeah, I
Now
was going to
we had
say she's
told
got a wedding coming up.
them. Yeah, I mean we had told
Right.
them before, but some time had passed.
Yeah. Okay.
But there was 2 weeks. She was 2 weeks post op, and she was like, I mean, we were all like, oh my gosh.
Oh.
She said, listen. She still had drains and all of
Oh,
that, and
right.
she said,
Surgery.
listen, I'm gonna rock this. And
Mm-hmm.
she pictures of her on the dance floor leading the line dances and
Oh
the whole nine
my.
yards.
Yeah.
So that spirit was always present. But
Yeah.
I think as I mentioned to you when we were talking off air a little bit, Cheddar, she fought for 7 years and uh, went into remission for a period.
Oh.
Wonderful.
Right.
Then it was, golly, I want to say 3 years ago. Um, was on a normal PET scan every quarter, every 3 months, and one of the PET scans came back, and that's what you always worry about.
Right. But that's why you go. You go to
And
check that out. Yeah.
so we had gotten that news that the cancer had returned, and it was in her it was in her spine, and that same day, um, our daughter, same one that had gotten married,
Mm-hmm.
called, said, "Hey," she lives in Temple, and said, "Hey, we're going to come over and see you guys." It's like, okay, come on over, and never forget, she gets out of her vehicle with her husband, and she has on a shirt that says Nana and Pop Pop.
Mm-hmm.
So she announced that she was pregnant on that
Oh.
same day that we
Oh,
learned.
really?
And so it was,
Mm.
and so again, at that point, we were like, we didn't say anything. It's like, oh, it was so happy. But, and then from that point forward, the last 3 years she had to give up teaching. She wasn't ready to stop teaching, but
You're right.
physically she did.
Yeah.
But, yeah, she kept that attitude and passed that down to our grandson. And yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Um, you shared the moment that
yeah,
he said, "Nana, you can
yes.
do hard things."
Well,
What when you heard that from the mouth of a
yeah. So,
babe,
so
what did that
yeah,
mean?
and
You
again,
know?
it's everything just kind of a poignant moment.
Yeah.
Um, the last 28 days of her life, she was in ICU, Scott and White in Temple, and I think it was like the last time we knew that he would see her. And so he brought her up and everything and put him up on the bed and laid down just loving and everything. And
Yeah.
it was time, you tell her to say, okay, it's time to go. And this is, I'll never forget it. I mean, because she
Mhm.
had taught him
Right.
at that early of age, she just, listen, Shepherd, you can do hard things. And he would, I don't, not that he really understood
Understood
it,
what
but
a yeah, hard thing
he
was.
would say it. But
Yeah.
that was the last thing he told his Nana.
Yeah.
He said,
Yeah.
Nana, he said, you can do hard things.
Yeah. I found this. I just kind of opened up
Yeah.
the book. For 7 years, she was
Yeah.
brave. She fought. She smiled. She kept on loving. And when she grew tired, her children whispered
Hmm.
back, "You can
You
do
can do hard
hard
things.
things." And so
Absolutely.
I mean, actually document this is real
Do.
life,
It is.
and it is something that children sometimes have to deal
Oh,
with
gosh,
and
yeah.
understand. And so I know writing the book had to have helped you in the process of grieving. Talk a little
It
bit to
did,
that.
yes. So, still being fresh and new, we were married. We were together for 42 years, married 40 years of that.
Hmm.
My best friend, um, and was it perfect? Nothing's perfect. And as if you're married long enough, the bottom line is if you're married long enough and you get into a little disagreement, you say, "Are you going to divorce me over this?" And she said, "No." I said, "Okay,
No,
we're
okay,
fine."
that's right.
But
Then
but
no big
yes,
deal.
it is it. You know what? Once I started the process of writing and then really seeing it, I remember the first rough draft I got, and it just the way that I felt is
Yeah.
like, oh, this is, I did personally, when I first started, I didn't realize it was going to be as healing for me. But it has been, and
Yeah.
now, and I didn't really know how well the book would, I really didn't have any intention of it, of being a big
Right.
thing.
Right.
It was, I wanted something for a legacy for close friends and
Mhm.
my family, and it's turned into a little bit bigger deal than that.
Yeah, and you've got a big book launch
I
coming
do.
up on Saturday. So tell me
Do.
about that.
Yes, Saturday here in Waco at Starbucks across from HEB on Hewitt Drive. They are graciously hosting me from 10 a.m. to 12. I will have books available to purchase. I have and will be available to sign copies and just visit and share more of the story
Yeah.
about Pat. So that is the first launch here in Waco, and so I'm very excited about Saturday. It's going to be great.
Well, it is going to be wonderful. You Can Do Hard Things
Yes.
by Terry Aslin. And it's a beautiful book, and it's a wonderful thing to have in your library for your kids or grandkids, for sure. Thank you so much
Oh, thank you, Ann. I
for
appreciate
sharing
it.
with us.
Sure.
Stay with us. There is more of the show ahead. We'll be hearing from Jennifer Snyder from Neat as a Pin. She will help us get organized in our homes. Yeah, we all need a little help with that. So stay with us. Today's show is brought to you by the Heart of Texas Home Builders Association. Don't miss this year's Home Products Show. It's January 31st and February 1st at the base at the Extraco Event Center. You'll see everything from home construction to remodeling, start to finish. Tickets are $5 at the door. I'll see you there.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct. I let in the sun rays. More of the heat stays. Universal Windows Direct.
Right now, buy one window, get the next one free, plus no interest and no payments for 24 months.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
Dichotomy Coffee and Spirits, a downtown Waco establishment, has operated both as a coffee shop and a cocktail bar for 12 years, but they posted that they will soon close their bar service at the end of January. The coffee shop portion of the business will remain open, but until the end of the month, they are offering 20% off all alcohol sales, including their top shelf items. Help Dichotomy close this chapter with a cheers to cheaper liquor. You can join the Lee Lockwood Library and Museum on Saturday, February 28th for the Stars Over Texas Jamboree, which is a family-style musical jamboree held quarterly at the Lee Lockwood Library and Museum. This is their first ever double header with a matinee show at 2 p.m. and a 7 p.m. evening show. Reserve tickets are available online Reserve tickets are available online and in person at Lee Lockwood Library and Museum during their business hours, all starting at $16. There will also be first-come, first tickets available the night of the show. There are pre-shows for each performance that will begin 15 minutes before curtain call. Also, concessions will be available for both. Be sure to check it out and more with Act Locally Waco. I'm Elizabeth Riley. Be sure to subscribe to our newsletter to find out more happening around you, and I'll see you later.
Ready for a better kind of primary care?
At Patient First Direct Primary Care, you get unlimited office visits with same-day or next-day availability.
And instead of rushed appointments, we take the time to actually listen.
There are no insurance hassles, just clear, simple care.
You can reach us by phone or text because access shouldn't be complicated. Our practice has expanded to include Medicare-age patients as part of our direct primary care model.
It's a fresh alternative to the traditional insurance or government-driven systems, care that finally puts you first.
For more information, go to patientfirstdirect.com.
It's time to start something new at Allen Samuels. Drive in with huge savings on all of our Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram vehicles. From the trail-conquering Jeep Grand Cherokee towing in style with a Ram Heavy Duty, or cruising the city in a sporty and luxurious Ram 1500, we've got the perfect ride for you. Stop by Alan Samuels in Waco, where we make car buying easy.
Come by, let's be friends.
Serving Central Texas since 1889, TFNB Your Bank for Life takes pride in being more than a bank. At TFNB, we remain committed to these principles. If you value them too, come join us. TFNB, Your Bank for Life.
Speaking of New York, this song's written about my time there, about a guy who played guitar in the subway station of the 19 subway. The old man sits and plays guitar while the 19 train races on and on. The song he sings, it ain't a one you've heard before. He may be someone you know. Right next to him sits an open jar. You can kill your guilt for $1.35 and change. The old man, he smokes an old cigar, thinking by this life sure tastes strange. And he sings a song about the girl he best remembers, and a song about his dreams that he watched die, and a song about his home in West Virginia. Oh, and that's the song that always made me cry. Canal Street, the train operator says, won't you step aside and let those people off the train? We get up, go up to work, and come back down and go back home, so that tomorrow we can do it all again. And he sings a song about the girl he best remembers, and a song about his dreams that he watched die, and a song about his home in West Virginia. Oh, and that's the song that always made me cry. And I cried for his loneliness, pretending not to know. And I cried when they closed his case and nobody showed. And from his lifeless face dripped his lines, and I wept as they leapt onto mine. So now I'm that old man playing my guitar, thinking about how time disappeared aboard that 19 train. I'm that same old man, the one that I despised. I still got nowhere to lay the blame. So I sing a song about the girl I best remember, and a song about my dreams that I watched die, and a song about my home way down in Texas. Oh, and that's the song that always made me cry. I sing a song about the girl I best remember, and a song about my dreams that I watched die, and a song about my home in Joshua, Texas. Oh, and that's the song that always made me cry. Thanks.
Welcome to the show. You know, the calendar has flipped to a new year, and that has us all kind of looking around the house going, man, I really ought to get organized. So who do we call? We call Jennifer Snyder, neat as a pin.
Yes, ma'am.
My expert on organizational skills. And Happy New Year to you,
Happy
my
New
friend.
Year. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, so is your phone just ringing off the wall?
Well, you know, anybody who knows me knows that I don't answer the phone, so even if it is, I don't know. But yeah.
I was lucky you texted me back. Is that
No,
right?
no, I'll text all day long.
Yeah. Well, you know, getting organized, it can feel so overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
So when I texted you about this, because I said it's the new year, it's kind of perfunctory. You do that, getting in shape, getting the house organized. It's just something everybody wants, a little reboot at the beginning of the year. And I happened to see an article, and it was about something called the 2-foot rule.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd never heard of that. And you said, oh yeah, I know what that is.
Yeah,
okay.
it's interesting.
So let's talk about that.
Okay.
What is the 2-foot rule?
The 2-foot rule is what you do is you pick an area in your home, the most used area. So let's say in your kitchen, it's going to be that place where you stand to bake the cakes. And you have a 2-foot section in each room, and that's what you put in order. You've got your and the things that you use. So this is the space that you use the most, and the things that you use the most within that space are right there in that space. And so the rest of the room can be whatever, but what you use is in good shape. It's organized, and you can do that in each room.
Okay, so you're taking things in little bites instead of the
Right.
overwhelming, this whole house is a wreck.
Right. You know, what happens is, it's the new year. Oh, this house is a mess. We've got it. I want to just get rid of it. I want
all
to
the
fix
Christmas
it.
decorations, the boxes,
Yes.
all the stuff.
And that, to be fair, Christmas decorations are overwhelming. You put them up, they're beautiful, but then you have Christmas with the wrapping paper and leftovers and all the new stuff that comes in along on top of the Christmas decorations. Anybody would be, I got to just get rid of all this. And, to be fair, my husband's one of them. And so he says that he said that his word for the year is going to be excess. And I'm like, no, babe, it's the other way. It's moderation. And so that, he's just one of those. But what happens is we get to that place of just frustration. And then we go to the place that we feel is the most painful, which would be the garage or the crap room or whatever.
The junk drawer, whatever.
Yes. And so we go to these places that are so overwhelming because it's just a big pile of delayed decisions anyway. And so then what we do is we try to make these decisions. We get decision fatigue and we just quit. And so this 2-foot rule is more, start small. Start in this small space. Start in the space that matters most and work out from there.
So you mentioned the kitchen, where you bake the cake. I don't bake cakes. I'm thinking maybe to the right of the sink.
Maybe so. Whatever you do. Like I live in a little tiny house. We've got like one all-purpose piece of countertop, and my husband will fill it up, and we have to clear. It has to be cleared every single day, and it's like we will never have an island for this reason right here.
It would be piled.
It would be piled high.
Yeah.
But but it's the idea is because we want to do so much, but it can't do it in a day.
No.
And so, garages are a big deal, pantries are big, and some closets are a big deal. And so if you can just, even in your closet, if you can have just a 2-foot space of that 20% that you wear 80% of the time, everything else you can get to it later.
You mentioned I'm thinking clothes because, we've got all the winter stuff, even though it hasn't, we haven't had much of a winter, but, it's just stuffed. It's just in my closet. I would be ashamed for you to see it.
But that's what we do. And, and for me, I'm an organizer. I try not to keep things that I don't need. But I've got drawers of clothes. Every so often I'll open them up and I'm like, ooh, wow, I forgot I had that. And, or I'll
and that's the beauty of this. Go
Right.
back. Every day has a memories page, and you can go back and see when oh my gosh, that dress is 8 years old. I probably ought to donate that.
Right. And what I do, I just, and I may have told you this before, I take from the left and return on the right. And
Mm-hmm.
if something hangs out there on the left for too long and I don't pick it, given weather considerations, I don't need it. And I'll give it away. I'm not trying to sell it. I just give it away.
Yeah. Yeah.
The faster it goes away, the better off I am.
Mm-hmm. Books.
Those are hard.
I know.
My stomach did a little flip. With books, to be fair, I have a lot of books. When I grow up, I want my house to be a library where people live. But with the books, one thing that we forget is how blessed we are. And we have, there's so much research about children and how well they do based on the number of books in their home. And just intellectually, and they do better in school because they're exposed to books. They're hard, and they're hard for a lot of people. But in sharing those books, the Friends of the Library, donating them, giving them to a school, giving them to a charity that serves anybody, really.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be just children's books, and so we get them, we hold on to them because they contain so much information. They're so valuable, whether or not we've read them. And then if
we
have,
we probably should read them.
right. And then if we haven't read them, they're full of potential. And so they're just so full.
Yeah.
And we connect with that. And as humans, we love stories,
Mm-hmm.
and books are full of stories. And so there's no reason hold on. What am I trying to say? There's no surprise that we love them, but sharing them, sharing them is such a generous act. And and even with our clothes, I say me too, it's just, we have so much, and there are so many people who need what we don't use,
Right.
and the trick is finding them.
Yeah.
But it's, when we think about it like that, it's easier to say, you know what, I haven't worn that dress in 8 years. I bet somebody else could wear this to a job interview and it could change their life.
Yeah. Well, back to the books.
Yeah. Sorry.
Well, no, just that I love this show. Have I said lately how much I enjoy doing this show? But I met Erin Timberlake, who has a little home business called Blind Date with a Book.
Okay.
And so she takes used books and she wraps them so cute and puts little bookmarks and things. It's just darling. And she'll research the book. She'll have hints about what the book is, and then resell this wrapped book.
And you don't know what's in there.
You don't know what it is.
Love it.
She'll go and she'll research, how many stars it got on Goodreads or whatever, and she'll have the genre of what it is. Well, I started going through bookcases that were just stacked because I'm in a book club, and so I'm buying other books. And I thought, I've read these. I don't need to keep. They're like novels and fun lady kind of thing. And I said, Erin, so I've got a big sack of books to give her. She goes, I showed her the titles. She was so excited.
Oh, how
So I
fun.
felt so good. We haven't made the swap out yet, but I've got the bag ready for her to pick up. And if she
Fun.
can make some money off of them, good for her.
Right,
That's
right.
good. And
And
it's a wonderful Blind Date with a Book.
Blind Date with a Book. I
It's
love that.
darling.
Is it just fiction?
Well, it could be a lot of different things. I don't know. She brought 3 different examples of what she did, but what a
love that.
clever way. And I said, did you come up with this on your own? She goes, no, I read it on Pinterest. So she just took an idea and ran with it,
Right.
and to reuse things. And I think that's what we all like to see, that the things that we've invested in
Right.
could go on and do some good.
Right. And Container Store, everybody wants the Container Store. They want the bins and they want the baskets.
Right.
But sometimes it's more fun to use what you already have in a way that's creative and clever. And I understand that not everyone is gifted in that way. But let's say, like for me, I have my grandmother's china, and
I've got like 8 sets of
right. And so
that is my big weakness.
I can't. It was in the hutch when I was a kid.
I
and,
know. It's a
we couldn't touch it. It was so
right.
precious.
It's a nostalgic.
And
it,
so
it wasn't used.
No, not very often. But instead I use one of the small little bowls for my rings at bedtime.
Oh.
or the big serving bowl, it has has the fruit, or it has things in it. And so I try to especially like my grandfather's ladder that my husband found in the garage, we have books on it. And
Oh, yeah.
and so especially with our sentimental things, if we can somehow put them to good use so that they're not just collecting dust somewhere for us to declutter in January, it's
Yeah.
that's helpful to help. So just, and it means something too.
Um, so what are you seeing most often when clients reach out to you and want help for organization? Is there like a theme that you see, or everybody's story is different?
Every story is different. Every story is different. We get a lot of, I can't find my clothes. I spend too much money on my clothes. I can't find them. I need
rebuying things that,
right.
that you already have.
Or I've made such an investment in my clothes and I can't see them in my closet. I need you to come fix my closet.
Right.
We get that. Or, oh my gosh, my kids have been home for a month. Come fix what they've done. It's those things, but it's also, I get a lot of calls from people with ADHD who are like, I just don't know how. I just can't do it. And so, we can work with them and try to help them come up with a way that they can reorganize their home so that it works for their brain, instead of looking at Pinterest and say, my house has to look like this, but
it never will.
It can't.
Yeah,
it's just not possible.
Yeah.
And for someone to come in and say, I see you and I understand why you're having these struggles. There's so many people are just like, oh, wow, thank you. Like no one has ever said that to them before. And that's important.
Well, when you I'm sure have dealt with extreme situations, hoarding situations and all that, which is just a mental psychosis. I mean, it's a real deep-seated trauma causes.
Right.
That's just not normal behavior. But you have been real interested in these neuroscience type issues that affect how people, how they function in their home, for sure.
Right. And it's just, and it's the prefrontal cortex, it's the planning, it's the executive function. It just doesn't, it's not that it works incorrectly, it just works differently. And so what we myself included, we try to put ourselves into this box that's of expectations for the neurotypical world. But when you're neurodivergent, that, it's hard, and you are always swimming upstream. And it's just, about changing your own expectations and just being happy. This is what I'm capable of doing. So this is what I can do. I'm going to do. And I'm going to be okay with that.
Yeah. And so some of the strategies that you've come up with in your own life, like what? Do you have some examples?
So visual cues, I have to see. If I don't see it, it's gone. Now, that's different with things that I'm storing, but like I told you about my shirt, I'm like, hey, where, I didn't know that was down there. But for example, if I need to take something with me when I leave the house, I have to put it on the floor in front of the door so that I can't get out of the house.
I have the end of the counter, before going out, my phone.
Yeah, and I
this, with my notes and stuff.
I have to make it so that I literally cannot leave the house without it,
right?
Or I'll forget it.
Yeah,
and I do a lot of habit stacking, where if I do one thing right after the other, and I do them in the same order every time, so that if, for example, if I put on my earrings and brush my teeth at the same time. And I get, halfway through my day and I'm like, did I brush my teeth? Then I can, if I have my earrings on, then I know I brush my teeth because I do them together. And so then if I want to try to do something new, as I'm aging and I've got more things I'm supposed to be doing with my skin, instead of just trying to do something new, I can stack it onto another habit that I'm already doing and get it done. And there's little things like that where, you just trick your brain into doing the things.
Yeah. A lot more strategies I want to talk to Jennifer Snyder with Neat as a Pen about when we come back, but we will take a break and we'll be back with Jennifer in just a bit.
So it's football season, and we can create your outdoor tailgating spaces that is actually a part of your home. It's bifold doors that tie in the inside and the outside, and you can gain anywhere from 1,000 to 5,000 square feet living space, all while taking in the big game, poolside. Call us at Gather & Co. Kitchen and Bath, where we can create your unique tailgating space.
TFNB, we remain committed to these principles. If you value them too, come join us. TFNB, your bank for life.
Today's show is brought to you by the Heart of Texas Home Builders Association. Don't miss this year's Home Products Show. It's January 31st and February 1st at the base at the Extraco Event Center. You'll see everything from home construction to remodeling, start to finish. Tickets are $5 at the door. I'll see you there.
Ready for a better kind of primary care?
At Patient First Direct Primary Care, you get unlimited office visits with same-day or next-day availability.
And instead of rushed appointments, we take the time to actually listen.
There are no insurance hassles, just clear, simple care.
You can reach us by phone or text because access shouldn't be complicated. Our practice has expanded to include Medicare-age patients as part of our direct primary care model.
It's a fresh alternative to the traditional insurance or government-driven systems, care that finally puts you first.
For more information, go to patientfirstdirect.com.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct. I let in the sun rays. More of the heat stays. Universal Windows Direct.
Right now, buy one window, get the next one free. Plus no interest and no payments for 24 months.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
It's time to start something new at Allen Samuels. Drive in with huge savings on all of our Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram vehicles. From a trail-conquering Jeep Grand Cherokee, towing in style with a Ram Heavy Duty, or cruising the city in a sporty and luxurious Ram 1500, we've got the perfect ride for you. Stop by Allen Samuels in Waco, where we make car buying easy.
Come by, let's be friends.
At Mitzi, we believe the right light can transform any space. Mitzi has the perfect design for you. Beautiful, well-made lighting without the high price tag. Discover your perfect light at Mitzi.com. That's MITZI.com. Mitzi.
And we are back with Jennifer Snyder. And we kind of what sparked our conversation was this 2-foot rule and talking about a high touch space. So how does one actually determine if something really belongs there?
Depends on how often you use it.
Okay. So strictly because, I mentioned that
Daily.
space. I've got an air fryer, and a lot of people they don't want any appliances sitting out on their counter. But, we use that relatively often. So it's like, it's okay there.
So how many times a week do you use it?
Probably 5 or 6.
Then I'd say it deserves a place on the counter.
But I also have the big honking mixer, speaking of cakes, that I don't bake. And it's kind of in a back corner.
Then that can go to the pantry.
Yeah. It's just so heavy when I do want to get it out. It's like, they weigh a ton.
They do it. Yeah. And I made the mistake of putting mine on a top shelf once. And,
oh, gosh.
Something, but too, if it is heavy and just depending on the configuration of your kitchen and your pantry, there's just a little rolling cart.
Yeah, I got to thinking maybe on the floor. It would be okay on the floor.
Then, but you'd have to
something that rolls.
If you'd have to clean it, but if you could get like a little 3-tiered cart, put it on the top, and you could put the parts underneath. You could put some other stuff underneath that you would use with it, and like flour things if you made cakes, and just it's just your little cake cart.
Yeah, but do you hold to the rules like No appliances out, or those kind of things.
No, I feel like if you use it, it needs to be out.
Mhm.
And then if you want to entertain, if you want to have a fancy party, then you can put it away.
Yeah.
But it's just not efficient to, especially with the big mixer. If you use it 2 or 3 times a week, it needs to stay out. Whereas, I use my blender to make smoothies.
Mhm.
And while it's not in our primary counter space, it's over here by the drain tray. It's out of the way, but it's where I can use it.
Right.
And I can get it easily. And that's really the heart of organizing, is having the things that you use frequently accessible.
Mhm.
And that's the function of it. But then the form comes later with the making it look nice. But first it has to work, and efficiency is really the whole point.
Sure. Can you walk us through what clear, edit, and reset might look like?
So clear is go away, right? So you take it away, and you
That could
start
be given away.
Well,
or
you just start
put
with the fresh.
away,
You
or-
start with the fresh space.
Okay.
So let's say your kitchen counter,
Mhm.
and we wanted to apply the 2-foot rule to your kitchen counter. So what we want to do is we want to take everything off and start with just a clean slate.
Mhm.
And then, because what happens is we'll leave things there. Oh, I know that. I know, and then it doesn't belong there. We just don't want to mess with it. So if you take it all away, and then you look at what you have, I use this every day, I use this every day, and I use this, and then you put the things there that you use every day, and you situate it, arrange it however you need to. These things over here that came off of the counter, those don't go there. And so those need a new home. So or they need to go away.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the editing.
Yep.
part.
So you clear it and then you edit.
Mhm. Yeah.
Mhm.
To have. So that's for a kitchen. How would that look like for a bedside table?
Oh, bedside tables or something. Same thing. Same thing. If you've got drawers, you might want to empty those. And, it's,
Oh, yeah.
The bedside tables are
Oh
things
my
to go
gosh,
to
they're
die.
like you'd hardly shut it. It's so stuffed.
And two, if the way I see a bedside table is, for most of us, the bedside table is the last thing we see at the end of a day.
Mhm.
And for some of us, it's the first thing we see in the morning. It's how we end and start our days.
Yeah.
And so it should be reflective of who you are, like who your soul is, like a good book, a beautiful water decanter, or, just something that makes you happy. It shouldn't have, last week's bills, or,
Yeah.
just a bunch of just junk and just personal things. And like, for example, teenagers, like, I get asked to consult on a lot of teenagers'
Mhm.
rooms. And I tell them the bedside table is where you put your truly personal things, your diary, things like that, your medications, your glasses, your truly personal things go on your bedside table. Because if you have friends over, they're going to get into all your stuff, but they're not likely to get into that.
Yeah.
And
It's
so,
like an unwritten rule. I mean,
right,
It's,
it's private.
it's private.
It's
yeah.
private. And so, I would treat it as a private space. And I would, if you take everything away and only put back the things that are yours,
Mhm.
then, that make your heart happy, then that's a really good way to go to bed at night. And that's a really good way to wake up in the morning.
Mhm. Oh, that's good. That is so good. So, the 2-foot rule pairs well with the 2-touch
Right.
rule. Have we talked about the 2-touch?
Not too much, no.
Okay, so what exactly is that?
That you just don't, you touch things 2 times. And if you have to touch them more than once or more than 2 times, it's too much. It's too much. And so, and think of it like,
Give me an example.
so let's say, I'm trying to think of it. Okay. Let's say I bought you a candle.
Okay.
Okay. And it's like,
I love
oh,
candles.
yeah. And so, wow, Jennifer bought me this candle. This is great. I'm going to set it right here on the kitchen island. I'm going to sit it right here on the island until I figure out where I want to put it, because it's, it's white. It can go in any room. I need to think about where I don't have a candle. Maybe I need to burn another candle. And so then you take the candle and you take it and you put it on your bedside table, and there it is. But it takes up too much room and it just doesn't feel good. So then you move it to the bathroom. Well, now you've touched it twice.
Okay.
And so what you're doing after you touch it more than 2 times, you're churning. You're just moving it around because you can't make a decision.
So what's the answer. I mean, I love
Well,
the candle,
so
but I've got to find a.
you have to have a home. You have to
I
have a
got
home.
to find a place for
Yeah,
it.
you either use it or give it a home.
Okay.
You know, you bring it in. Okay, here's the candle. I'm not ready to use it right now. I've got a candle cabinet. I'm going to put it over there.
Right.
2 times.
Yeah, and once you burn up the one that's
Mm-hmm.
halfway done, then
Right.
pull it out and
Right.
okay.
You know, and as long as they're, you know, things have a home and giving them a home where you would look for them.
Mm-hmm. So a lot of people worry that they won't keep it up,
Mm-hmm.
keep things going. How do you help clients build systems? We touched on a little bit that are realistic and sustainable.
So first you have to keep up, not catch up.
Okay.
And so if you get behind, let's say you have a functional, great system and you get behind, don't try to catch up and do all the things. Just jump in where you are now and you can sweep some of the stuff behind you in later as you go, you know, or, you know, and back to, you know, I tell you I'm a neuroscience nerd, but, you know, our brains change. You know, the same, you know, when I started my organizing business, my brain of my own personal things I don't do things the same way that I did then because I have
Really?
evolved. And it, you know, and if you think about it, you know, when we're in our early 20s, you know, we have little kids at home, you know, I did things differently then. And so than I do now. And when 20 years from now, I'll do things even differently, you know, because our brains are always changing and evolving. And so we just need to be flexible and realize that one system is not going to be the system for life. We need to be willing to be flexible and say, you know what, I don't write paper checks anymore. I don't need all of these checks, or, you know, I don't need to get the bills in the mail anymore because I pay everything online.
Yeah, a lot of things have changed
And
where that's concerned.
and so we, you know, if we could be flexible, you know, we can always start with that same, you know, same foundation and just make modifications to it. But then we, you know, just our brains change, and so our needs change, our lives change, and one system will not work for anyone forever, as far as I know.
Is there a mindset shift that can help people, you know, along the way, or stop looking at organizing as just such an overwhelming thing?
You know, organizing it's exciting, it's trendy, it's, you know, TikTok worthy, but it's not for everybody. And I think, you know, there's a lot of shame associated with that and not being able to do it, not wanting to do it. And, you know, and that's fine. That's fine. You know, as long as your home is clean and you don't have a problem with it, then more power to you is what I think. You know, but it's those who really want to be organized and just don't know where to start. And I always say, start with the junk drawer. The junk drawer.
Oh, I know exactly where it is.
You know, but it's small and it's confined, and, you know, and you've got a whole bunch of different stuff in there. And so what that is, it's kind of like a trial run. You know, you have to sort, you know, this is, you know, dog stuff and iPhone chargers and, you know, it's the sorting. And then, you know, and from there, okay, I've got this many iPhone chargers. I probably need a tech drawer. I need a phone drawer. Ooh. And so then you can say, okay, so I've got 14 junk drawers. One of those can be
just rename it.
Just the tech drawer. Right. And, you know, I am a big fan of naming all the spaces. You know, the sillier the names, the stickier they are. But, you know, if you have a phone swag drawer, then, you know, that's where the cases go.
Oh, I was going to say, what does that mean?
So that would be that would be the chargers and the, you know, the little protective cases and, you know,
some people have
the
more
little
than
glass
one, that fashion, turn them into purses or whatever.
You know, you buy the protective glass and there's like 3 pieces in there. So you've got extras.
Yeah.
And so then all the phone stuff goes in there, you know, the dog leashes and all that go in the dog drawer. And so you're able to see, and, you know, to some degree, it's if you give a mouse a cookie, you know, so here's this, and now I need the tech drawer. So I'm going to have to empty this drawer and put this over here. But over time, you're figuring it out. And then hopefully the more you look at this other stuff that you don't really need, and you don't want to make the space for it. You don't want to make the decision about it. So then you just don't need it.
Oh, I'm just thinking of things like notepads.
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
Why did they multiply?
Yeah. Well, you know, and there's boundaries.
And they're kind of most of them kind of full of that. I just hate to throw them away, but how do you?
And so that's where you have boundaries. You know, that's where you have natural boundaries. And, one of my boundaries is, no offense to anybody who prints notepads. If it has anybody's business name on it other than mine or my husband's, I don't keep it.
I gotcha. Yeah. I like the little sticky pads from whatever the hospital or whatever.
But I've got a box of thank you notes. I've got a thing for thank you notes. I like pretty notes. And I've got a box in my office that I can have thank you notes. And when that box is full, I can't buy anymore. And if I do, I either have to take them back or I have to give them away, or I have to give away some of them that I have if I don't like those as much. And so
which makes a nice gift, really.
The containers become boundaries, and they limit what you can have. And I don't want a second container of thank you notes. I mean, good gravy. I couldn't send that many thank you notes in a lifetime. But I've got this box and it's confined, and even if I never send a thank you note and I just keep buying them, at least I'm looking at them and blessing others with them as they move through.
Oh, golly. Some encouragement. What encouragement do you give someone who's like, I'm going to get started with this?
Start small.
Yeah.
Start small. And two, it's super important to remember that you can't organize clutter. There's people who want to organize but not declutter. I don't want to get rid of anything. I just want to make it organized. If you have more stuff than will realistically fit into your space, you will never be organized because you're always going to spill over. And so I would say, make sure that what you have suits you and where you are in your life right now.
And not something, I might need that someday, which is kind of the watchwords of the hoarder.
Or I really loved that when I was in college. Those were my favorite shoes when I was in college 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm 2 sizes bigger now. Why do I have them?
Well, in my case, it's like these beautiful heels.
Right.
I'm not going there again.
No,
and I think, but what if I'm in a fashion show and I might need them for a runway? Like,
no, for most of the time, and for most of us, if we needed it, we could go buy another one.
Well, yeah.
Even if we were to go to a thrift store, and
that's true.
And most of us are going to buy something else instead of using something that old anyway. And that's kind of the thing when people lose a lot of weight. They keep the clothes, they keep their bigger clothes, or they gain weight and they keep their smaller clothes. And it's like, get rid of those smaller clothes. If you do the work to lose the weight, you deserve some new clothes.
Yeah. Right. Right.
Yeah.
Oh, it's always fun. Jennifer, how can folks get in touch with you? If they want to hire you or whatever.
Yep. You can find us at neatasapen.com. That's probably the easiest way. On Facebook, I kind of miss those messages. It's totally a Jennifer thing. I don't know why. I guess I'm just getting old. My brain's changing. But we're on Facebook, Instagram, but neatasapen.com. There's a contact form. Easiest way to do it.
Okay, and you can maybe it's your garage, maybe it's the whole house or whatever. So you do it all. You got a wonderful team of folks.
I do have a great team, and one of the really cool things about my team is, I don't typically work in the field so much, but when they're out there, if they get stuck, if they need help, then the clients get my expertise as being a certified professional organizer with all of this experience. If they get stuck, if they need help, then the client gets my expertise without having to pay my rate.
Oh, very good. Well, you're a delight.
Thank you.
Always so glad when I get in touch with you and you say, let's sit and talk, because I always have fun. I always learn something. Doesn't mean necessarily, but there are a few things that I have put into practice, and I think my bedside table is in good shape.
There you go.
I mean, it's got my laptop and and a charger.
Yep, there you go.
That's what I need. All right.
And any changes that you want to make, try habit stacking. Small changes make big results.
Yeah. Wonderful advice. Great advice. Thank you, Jennifer.
Yes, thank you for having me.
And again, Happy New Year again. Stay with us. There is more of the show ahead.
Serving Central Texas since 1889, TFNB, your bank for life, takes pride in being more than a bank. TFNB, we remain committed to these principles. If you value them too, come join us. TFNB, your bank for life.